All right, I think I'm live on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, please do let me know. I've got to turn down my sound. I think Jaime will be joining in just a moment. Excuse my super close face on YouTube, folks. There's Jaime. Maybe we should start calling this late night real estate. Maybe too much. Maybe too much.
I don't know what type of audience we're gonna attract.
Late night audience. What used to be that I feel like there was like a MTV or BET late night. Got a bit of echo. I don't know if you can hear that.
Is that your echo or my echo?
I feel like it's your echo. Go ahead and talk.
All right. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So folks on YouTube, do us a huge favor. Can you hear us? Okay. I am putting the microphone as close as possible.
And folks on...
You want to go ahead and talk?
Yeah, I hear a bit of an echo from... I'm not sure where it's coming from, though. So if you're on Facebook, let us know if you can hear us okay as well.
Oh, that was me. Try it again.
You good? Check, check, check. Yeah, there we go. Much better.
So that
was it the phone?
That was on me. Yeah, it turns out when you put the audio all the way up, that's the opposite of what we were supposed to do. It's a good thing we talk through these things before we do them.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, so we should be good to go now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lead Source Podcast, episode number 31. We've been rocking and rolling on this thing, man.
Dan Fonseca, I can't... Oh, y'all are good. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Dan.
Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome. Welcome to the call on Facebook. And I think we're good to go, Jaime, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm looking at my angles here. I have to look up at the so those of you who don't know how all this works, I'll kind of give you some insight and then we'll dive into the material for today. But have two cameras, and then we have 4 screens where we're watching ourselves. So all of these things, you have to think about where you're looking. So if I'm looking directly at the camera for YouTube, that's the actual camera. And then if I'm not looking up, then I'm not looking at the camera for Facebook. And so you have all of these dynamics that are taking place. And if you don't have things situated just right, it looks crazy. So if I'm not looking at the camera at Facebook, understand why. If I'm not looking at the camera on YouTube, understand why. There's just several different places where we have camera angles right now. So it'd be hilarious to actually splice this up, Jaime, and put it together like some of the big dogs do, and be like, oh, I was looking there and now I'm looking here. And like, anyway, I'm not going to give that to anybody. I think the producer would go insane trying to figure all that out. But anyhow,
yeah, no, we can't afford that level of producer. We can only afford Pat.
I digress. And
even then. Alrighty, Freddie. Well, welcome to the Agent Lead Source Podcast, episode 31, Real Estate Lead Generation Hacks for 2021. We're very excited that you're here. As you're coming in, if you're here on the live stream, we do these on Thursdays. I'm not going to give you the time because we're always late. So just understand that you hang around long enough on social media, you're going to catch us going live on Thursdays, usually in the New Real Estate Agents group and also on the Online Lead Generation group and several other Facebook groups, along with the YouTube channel. So really appreciate you being here. Joseph, how are things over in Singapore?
They're good, man. They're good. Life is pretty nice here. Just doing my normal thing, working. One thing that's going on in our lives, I know a lot of people like to hear about personal lives as well. We're doing sleep training for my son for his big boy bed. So those of you who aren't parents, and those of you who are, you'll know this. You do sleep training first for when they're a baby, and then whenever you get ready to move them into a big boy bed, meaning not having all the rails and stuff, then you do big boy or big girl bed training. And we're doing big boy bed training right now. And I can tell you, Jaime, the bags under my eyes are there for a reason. Late nights and early mornings. Let's just say at 5 o'clock this morning, my son wanted to watch cartoons, and I'm trying to train him not to watch cartoons, but to get back in bed. And anyhow, nonetheless, I am a bit worn out, and it's all because a little uh, crazy boy that's not even 2 years old yet runs my life.
We'll get ready for another one. Times two.
Yeah, less than a month. Anyway, how are things?
Little
How
late
are
to
things in
reconsider that
Texas?
one.
Yeah, little late for that. How are
Things
things
are
in
good,
Texas?
man. Things are good. So everything is going pretty well. Just so many different avenues or so many different projects being lifted off the ground. So I created my own bottleneck to where I do not have enough, let's just call it administrative staff or middle management, whatever you want to call it, to
Yeah,
review a lot of the projects. So whether that's the podcast, whether that's the blog, whether that's the new website, whether that's the new company that we just introduced this week, it's just all pulling my personal attention, and that's the wrong way of structuring things. So that's kind of what's going on.
it's
So
okay to be busy. It's okay to be busy.
yeah,
It's busy and productive. Those are two different things. I think agents and business owners need to understand. It's you're being productive on all the things that you're talking about, and you know, productive is good. Busy productive is good.
yeah. No, it is what it is. We're gonna move forward. So it's either
Awesome.
gonna is we're either gonna fail because we don't have business, or we're gonna fail because we have too much. Either way, we're gonna fail. So that's how I look at business.
Fell, fell fast and grow. That's it. That's it,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
Fell
welcome to the
fast and
Agent
grow.
Lead Source podcast. As you can tell, we know what we're talking about. So appreciate you being here. Well, let's just dive right into it, Joseph. One of the hacks. So again, the topic of our episode 31, real estate lead generation hacks for 2021, is we're going to bring to you so many different elements. So usually we try to stay in our lane, whether that's social media, whether that's websites, whether that's physical ways to do lead generation, and a lot of it, of course, having to do with marketing and business and all that fun stuff. But this time we're going to go all over the board. We're going to do some hacks that you've never heard before. We're going to go through some tips that they're not going to go in sequential order, is what I'm getting at. So the first one I want to kick off is one that is heavily underutilized, and using the website domain hack. So unpacking that for a quick second, everybody knows what a website domain is. It's kind of like josephgonzalez.com, jaimearsendes.com. It's that URL, or that website URL, the website link, website domain that you share with individuals. And what we fail to realize is how cheap they are. You may be thinking, no, that's going to be super expensive, but no, these domains are super inexpensive. You can buy them for $1 a year. You can buy them for $10 a year. It's going to be a great way for you to centralize a lot of traffic into a location that you control, into a website that you can go out and build an entire or a domain that you can build out an entire website behind, or just redirect it to where you want it. I'll give you just one quick hack on how to do that. And that's something that I just recently did. Is a lot of us are doing online Zoom calls. So we either are scheduling Zooms with this call right now. This is actually through Zoom, but a lot of us are doing buyer consultations, seller consultations. So a simple hack is buying the domain Zoom with Joseph, Zoom with Jaime, and most of those are going to be the .com are going to be available. And
Yeah.
you get to share that with individuals, and all you have to do is redirect the Zoom link to you. So, or redirect that domain to you. Does that make sense, Joseph?
Yeah. So let me ask some questions, right? Because this is new information to me as well. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, can somebody automatically go to your link and then join the call, or do they have to have a password? How does that work? Because the way I envision it is,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, I'm doing marketing, right? I'm doing
Yep.
Facebook ads or whatever, and I send somebody to my Calendly, and then once they
Yep.
click on my Calendly, it's like, hey, save this link for your time, right? And so my question is, can you automatically schedule it, or is it just the link and then they can go to that link at their scheduled time. How does that work, right? Like, because what if you're in a call with somebody else? Kind of
Yeah.
give us that process and the thought process behind that.
Yeah, so there's 3 levels of security at Zoom. And this is actually where
Hmm.
Zoom kind of got in trouble at the beginning, where people were just Zoom bombing people, where they were just
Hmm.
dropping in on the calls unsolicited. So you can do an open one where people automatically get into the room, or you can add a waiting room. So whenever people click, again, they think they're going to this website. So as an
Yeah.
example, zoomwithjaime.com. Don't go to that one because that's actually taken. I'm not going to give you my real one right now because it's actually to this one, and I haven't put the levels of security that I'm going to share. So I'm not going to give you my
Yeah.
real one
Sure.
until after. But you can install a waiting room, so you see people that are trying to join, and you admit the people that you want. Or
Hmm.
you could do a password, so they'll need a code in
Got
addition
it.
to the to the to the URL. So the way
Hmm.
that after our call today, how I'm going to structure it is I'm going to add the waiting room because I don't want to have to give somebody the pin, that user
Yeah.
pin, because that defeats the purpose. So
Yeah.
zoomwithjaime.com, again, it's not that one, but you can do that for your business right now. And it's a great way to brand yourself. It's a great way to drive traffic to, in this particular case, Zoom, but you don't have to do it just to Zoom. You can do that to, you mentioned one of them right now that was kind of like the second one, which was Calendly.
Yeah.
Calendly does give you an opportunity to put some level of customization,
Customization. Yeah.
but how better would it be if you schedule with Jaime as an example, and it would go straight into your
Yeah.
Calendly link on a calendar that you can control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, the reason I was asking about the security level, how you would plan on doing it, because I'm coming from the marketing side of my brain, right? And saying, okay, if I were to do this, I would send somebody, some information or whatever, run an ad. They want to come talk to me and schedule a call with me. And typically they would schedule a call with me, and then we would send out information later, but my link would not be branded. Now I'm sending them a link that's branded. Hey, you can use this link at the time of the call. And then I would probably follow up with a text message that says, hey, don't forget to use this link to join the call at this time that you requested to join this call. Right. So I was just thinking through that process and how can you make it. One of the videos I watched the other day, and this is, for those of you who love marketing, and you should love marketing if you're real estate, um, and get really good at it. But thinking, the video I watched was, how do you make it put less friction there, right? Um, and so if you can take out less clicks or less thought process, this kind of does that, and that makes things better. So it's like, hey, here's your link, no code, no nothing else. It's just my name and Zoom. And then whenever they get there, literally you say, hey, by the way, don't forget there's a waiting room. You'll be in that waiting room at the time of your call. I'll make sure to let you in. So you kind of lessen the friction there. So I love that idea.
Yeah, yeah. And what makes it a hack is because people don't. The idea of getting a domain and building a website is not new. I mean, that's been going on
Mhm.
forever. But the
Right.
whole vanity domains, the whole manipulating domains in a very crafty way like this, sending them directly to where you want, directing traffic is that's something that's heavily underutilized. And going back to where it fits in real estate lead generation, this is something that we use and we've been using for a while, not just for the Zoom thing. That was new because I did not know that the Zoom thing existed. But as
Yeah.
far as a URL, that is how we've been taking the physical traffic. So whenever you send door mailers, whenever you're talking to people, whenever the physical world, how we take the physical into the online space so we can retarget them later on, because wherever we're sending them, it would be pixeled
Yeah.
on face from the Facebook pixel, and also it would have the Google tag. So what we've been doing is giving people like free valuation, DallasFreeValuation.com, or
Yeah.
another one that I own is it's DFWHomeowner.com. So those
Mhm.
domains we would put in our mailers, and then we would redirect people to those websites, because people are not going to follow a 50 character URL. And even
No.
the Bitly ones, those are still too long. So they're
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
put bi.tly128. They're not, and that's not memorable. That's not branding.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, but they would go to dfwhomeowner.com. That's
Yeah.
brandable, and you can
Yeah.
send that wherever.
I love it. I love it. And you know, speaking of this hack and trying to get people to do things at a faster pace, right? You want, again, removing friction. So one of the hacks we talked about, gosh, this was, we've been doing this for 31 weeks now, at least. One of the previous calls that we talked, or podcasts that we had, I mentioned to people, whenever you send out these cards, you can also put a QR code, because phones are finally to the point where QR codes make sense. It used to be like so cumbersome and such a pain in the butt. Now you can just put your phone up and it automatically scans that QR code, and then if you have an iPhone, it pops up Safari. I'm sure, I don't know how the Androids work, probably not very well, but not not that I'm an Android hater. But yeah, Android, if you want to sponsor me. But seriously though, you send out these mailers and then they can scan the QR code and go to that URL automatically, right? And so you put the actual URL itself, so that if somebody wants to type it out, and then you put the QR code, because you can auto generate the QR code nowadays. You just put the website on a different website and it pops out the QR code, and you can print that too. So now you have two items that can send them wherever you want to go. So depending on if they like to type it out or if they just want to scan it, right? I think those are both brilliant ideas to get people to where you want to get them to. And then next level is then saying, hey, whatever site I'm sending them to, I'm pixeling them so I can follow them on the internet, right? So I can legally stalk them, if you will, on the internet these days.
100%.
I don't know about ethically. We'll call it legally stalk them.
Yeah, legal.
see
That's a
that.
different question.
Yeah, I see a lot of people say you can ethically do X, Y, Z. I'm like, well, it's more legally. I don't know about ethically.
I agree. All right. So as you're coming in, let us know. Well, one, hit that like button and let us know what you think of that particular strategy. We really do want to get as much engagement and real-time feedback. If this is a type of information that you want to hear more of, we really want to gauge the room as we do the lives. We want to be part. We want to form a community as we go live. So it really helps us tailor the content for the next episode, the next episode, the next episode. So it really does help us out. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, a 5-star review goes a long way. I think we hit over the 30. I think we hit over 30 now, Joseph. So we're doing well on the ratings. So really do appreciate everybody that's gone over there and given us that 5-star.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, hey, while we're on the topic of QR codes and sending people to where we want them to go, directing them, via URL, vanity URL, so forth, so on, an idea just popped up in my head. Let's say, for example, you're a real estate agent and you want to do something that's different. You still want to market to people and you still want to get them to go where you want them to go, but you want to do something that's different. One thing that I have not seen that I think could work really well, and it's kind of like a mystery. One of the parts of marketing is like having some mystery, right? One of the advertising techniques. And so let's say, for example, you would run a Facebook ad, but you'd only run it to desktop. And the reason you'd only want it to run at desktop is because you want people to scan your QR code. So in order to do that, they have to have their mobile device in their hand. So they can't like scan the QR code that's on their phone unless they have multiple phones, right? Which is very redundant, but it happens. And we have a lot of people. Anyway, point here, you run that Facebook ad, you run it to a desktop, and you say, scan this QR code to learn about this agent, or scan this QR code to learn about a house, right? And so now you're running the ad with the QR code, because people, at least here in Asia, and I don't know how it is in the US, we have to scan everything and everywhere we go now. We have to scan in. So people are just like used to using scans, right? And so in the US, it would be really interesting to run a beta test to see how many people would actually scan the QR code on their desktop, right? So for me, I'll give you an example of what I'm planning on doing. If I do utilize this strategy, is I'm going to say, for our seller program that we're getting ready to start running, is I'm going to say, hey, if you're interested in seller leads for $99 per month, scan the QR code below. Or like, hey, are you a real estate agent? Want leads for $99 per month? Scan the QR code to learn more. And then I direct them to an actual website, right? And so it's a slightly different thing, but then I can build my lookalike audience from there, right? And so anyway, that's just an idea that I was thinking about, kind of getting people where I want them to. Also just slightly different than normal advertising, right?
Yeah, no, and that's a great observation, making sure that you know where your traffic is coming from or what you're actually offering. So I can't tell you the number of times that whenever I do consulting for apps, well, they're they're running ads to the desktop. So
Yeah.
why would you want to do that? Because people are not going to go through the trouble of, oh well, let me go over here and try to find this app.
Yeah.
So when 90% of minimum 90% of the traffic that's actually downloading the app after we look through the numbers, that's what it ends up being. Over 90%, I'm being generous, over 90% actually only the conversions are from the
The
mobile.
mobile device.
But
Yeah.
what you're mentioning right now is, that common sense that sometimes isn't so common.
Yeah.
If we think in very singular, just one ad focus, as opposed to thinking of a marketing campaign and strategy, we're gonna miss it. And
Yeah.
that's really that's not, I was about to say that's a testament to being lazy, but it's really just convenience has really taken over. So we
Yeah.
need to, instead of us being the people that are going through the convenient way of doing things, we're the ones that need to step back and, to your point, provide that convenience of, all right, what's going to be reduce the friction to get somebody
Correct.
into my either purchasing my software, purchasing my product, purchasing my service, whatever the case may be. So just that
Yeah.
single distinction alone, I think, is huge. And I think that if you market in that way, that's atypical. Instead of click on this link, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be an interesting beta test. I think it'd be interesting for agents to test as well, right? Like you have a picture of the house, and instead of having them, you would run it for engagement to test it out, right? Run it as cheap as you possibly can, but always in the right corner, fairly large. You're like, and in your statement, it's like, if you're looking to buy a house or if you're looking to sell a house for top dollar, scan this QR code to download XYZ, or to do whatever. And so that way you can go follow them and do all the things that you need to do. Now, of course, that brings us to the question of several different things after we talk about this hack on the iOS update, but we'll save that for another call. But anyway, I think it's a great hack to be able to use to at least get people where you want them to go.
100%, 100%. And as we're kind of going there, let's talk about the secret lists. If you
Okay.
want to break that one open, that would be great.
Yeah, so something that we've discussed in the past, and I think we'll dive a little bit deeper on this call. And comment if you know this, and comment if you don't. Tell us yes, I know about this, or no, I don't. So, and on your personal Facebook profile, you can create list of people. So you can segment your list of friends, right? So for me, as a marketing, uh, I guess a professional at this point in my life, what I do is I segment agents, real estate agents, loan officers, new agents versus seasoned agents, right? And so whenever I go in, I find out how many years the agent has in the business, and then I will segment them, and then I will create content specifically for that segment of agent. So I know that agents that are 2+ years, those agents are going to buy our higher level programs, right? Because we're meeting the agent where they are in their business. We're not trying to push things that don't make any sense to them, right? I'm not going to sell a new agent a $3,000, $5,000 virtual assistant placement because they don't need that yet, right? But a agent that's 2, 3 years in, that's making money and now has way too much going on in their life to manage everything themselves, then we will place a PA. For the newer agents, we'll offer free marketing, and then we'll offer them tiers of our other marketing so they can learn skills to get more business. So I will segment out my list of agents. So for you as a real estate agent, you can go in and create a list for yourself: new first-time home buyers, current renters, first-time home sellers, has owned home for X amount of years plus, right? And then that way you create content specific for that group of people. And so we call that the secret list, because they don't even know they're on the list, right? You guys who are watching this or watching it later don't even know that you're on these particular lists. And that's the beauty of having these secret lists. And so you have a higher percentage of people that will see this content.
And that's something that when I first heard about it, actually it was you that told me about it. So when I first heard about it, it was a game changer, because for the longest time we get well, there's two primary questions that come up. Do I post on my business page or do I post on my personal page?
Mm.
Well, I'm not even going to touch that opinion, but
Yeah.
or what we think about that, because we've talked about that quite a bit. But then the second question becomes, well, I want to keep my personal page personal. I don't want anybody out. I don't want to talk about business. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, instead of you going out and creating another profile and trying to do that and then getting blocked by Facebook because they see that it's the same profile and it goes against their terms of service,
Yeah.
will you can create these secret lists. You can segment your audience based off of how you want to communicate with them. If you
Yeah.
want to have your homies list, if you want to have your girls list, if you want to have your whatever list, you can create that. So you
Yeah.
can have your, as you mentioned, you can have segment them out based off of who you service and how you service them, or
Yeah.
you can just segment them however you want. That way you present, honestly, you present the face that you want. You present the brand that you want to whoever it is that you desire, without having to create another personal profile and then risk getting that one blocked.
Yeah. 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 I think that's a, I think if you don't have a problem with gaining at least 5,000 friends, then this is certainly something that you want to do. And I highly suggest doing this because the more you segment your list, the better your marketing becomes, because the type of content that you're producing doesn't need to be for everybody, right? You can change it up to make sure that you're matching the type of people that you're trying to market to. Um, there's no way you're going to market a first-time home buyer, product or um, Zoom call or whatever, first-time home buyer webinar to somebody that owns a house or 3 houses, or they're an investor, right? Doesn't make any sense. So you want to make sure that that content is going specifically to that segment of people. And if you're a quote unquote private person and you don't want your personal friends to see your real estate content, which doesn't make any sense to me, because if they live in the same market, you probably want them as clients. Then you can also segment it out so only certain people see it, and you can also exclude people from seeing, right? So that's also a benefit to you if you create these quote unquote secret lists on your personal profile.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have to rock Jaime to sleep here pretty quick. It's it's pretty late for you, huh?
You want to tell him or should I, Joseph? You
Oh
want to tell him or
man.
should I?
Well, I'll tell him. I being the awesome person that I am with knowing time zones, I was about 30 minutes late to this call because I was on another call with my mastermind agents that ran over and didn't realize that, because we don't have daylight savings in Singapore. So there's daylight savings in the US, which still doesn't make any sense at this point in time. Like, farmers don't even farm. I mean, there are great farmers out there, but robots pretty much do most of the work. Anyway, that's a whole other segment. I don't want to offend any farmers out there. Anyway,
Don't offend my dad, because I'm a farmer's
yeah,
kid.
yeah. Well, I grew up on a ranch, so in the summers as a young kid. But
My ranch is
anyway,
better than your ranch.
probably. But but yeah. So anyway, I was late to the call. Now Jaime's in his early 20s and he's falling asleep on us. So we got to make sure that we keep him awake.
Get out of here. Get out of here. No, I'm not in my 20s. Hey, so there's a question that came in over on YouTube. Thanks for the info. So this is from Michael Aiken, and I don't know why Siri popped up. All right, so this is from Michael Aiken. Thanks for the information. Can you explain a little bit more on obtaining a customized Zoom URL domain? Is there a cost associated with obtaining this URL domain? So this is not getting a domain from Zoom. This is getting a domain, period, point blank. So you can go to GoDaddy and go to websites like that where you purchase a domain. Once you have purchased that domain, you're just going to do a simple redirect. I believe it's called the 301 redirect. And you can Google how to do this. It's very, very simple. It'll redirect it over to your custom URL that you have. And when I say custom, it's just unique. You don't have to pay for that one. So you're going to have a unique URL from
By the way,
Zoom.
Jaime, not to interrupt your camera, just shut off on the
okay.
on the live stream there.
Good call.
There you go.
So does that make sense? Does that make sense, Michael? Just wanted to provide some clarity on that. The custom, the URL that you're purchasing is not being sold by Zoom. You're purchasing that from GoDaddy and just simply redirecting that to your Zoom link.
Yeah, so the cost associated really at the end of the day is the actual purchasing cost. So wherever you decide to purchase the link from, correct?
Yes. Yes. So whatever ends up costing you. Now I don't want the cost to be a big burden. And that's what I used to think. I used to think that domains were expensive, but really they run promotions all the time. You can purchase a
Yeah,
domain for $1 a year. And
yeah,
what's that going to cost you? It's going to cost you, even if it costs you 20, if it costs you $30, it's for the entire
yeah,
year. If it didn't work, if you see that it never, you never used it as you intended, okay, you
yeah.
just don't renew
Move
it
on.
next year. So that's
Yeah,
where the whole, you don't have to create a website is very important, because we think, well, now I have this domain, now I have to find a host, now I have to design it, now I have to maintain it. No, you can just get creative with these. Buying these domains is almost a hobby for me at this point. Um, so it's one of those, it's, like people get into trading cards. Now I'm getting into domain buying.
there you go. Yeah, you can hodl your domains too, by the way, right? That's
Yeah.
there are a lot of domain squatters. I'll just say that there's a lot of domains I want. And it's like, oh, we can broker that deal for you. I'm like, oh, why can I just not buy this site? Why is somebody sitting on this for 20 years? But
Yeah.
yeah, but anyhow. Well, cool. So yeah, so the secret list, that's domain, having custom domains. What's the next thing that we want to chat about? What's the next hack we want to teach people, Jaime?
One of the hacks that I wanted to share, and as we were talking about it, it makes all the perfect sense in the world, is really how an Instagram account got to 250,000 followers, which
Oh, I love it.
it's a brand that we all know, which is The Broke Agent. And
Mhm.
the founder, Eric Simon, he's been on the YouTube channel before, and he pretty much just said it. I just take, well, I guess let me reset before I share. I share the what he mentioned. So basically, the hack is taking any meme that's trending, anything that is already going out there viral, whether that's I'm struggling with memes now, but any meme that you can possibly think of that has nothing to do with real estate, and just put it through a real estate lens.
Yeah,
It's really that simple, especially after major events like the Super Bowl, the Final Four. Whenever you see these memeable moments, well, there's going to be a trend off of that. There's going to be a
yeah,
trend either because the Super Bowl halftime show sucked or was amazing. Well, there's going to be a lot of memes that come from that. And then all you have to do is see which ones are popping off, and you just put a lens behind that, a real
yeah,
estate lens behind that. And that's
yeah,
exactly how the broke agent, and he'll tell you this, Eric will tell you this. He got to 250,000 and going beyond that, but got to 250,000 followers on Instagram, strictly following that structure. There's no true original, and I hope this doesn't offend him, but there's really no true original meme that he's created has gone absolutely viral for them, because he just takes whatever's popular in the culture right now, puts it through a real estate lens, and then just deploys it on his Instagram and gets 100,000 likes on a post.
yeah. It's quite interesting, right? Like if you think about news, you think about all these things that happen in the world. It's all predicated on things that have happened, current stuff, right? Like example, like keeping current matters. Like if they were to do that and they would create these memes because they have such a big audience already, you know how fast they would continue to grow. Um, and so even you as a local agent can do this. Like if you get the newspaper or you follow the local news on Facebook, anytime there's something that happens, if you reproduce the news, you will become popular. Like I've seen YouTube channels that solely have become popular because they present the news differently than the newscaster would, right? And so at the end of the day, all this stuff is just reproduced content, right? The reason ESPN is so popular is because they do the same show 37 times in a day and just have different people presenting it. And so you can do the same thing in your local markets. Like, okay, what happened and the news this morning in, DFW. Awesome. Me as a real estate agent, I'm going to create a news show. It's going to be me talking to the camera like I am right now. I might even do a live YouTube. I'm going to have my notes right here, and I'm going to talk about what happened in the news, right? I'm going to recreate the news. Hey, in today's episode, this is Joseph Gonzalez from Remax. Remax, by the way, just throwing real estate company. You're welcome, Remax. I'm with Remax, and today we're going to be talking about what happened in DFW, right? And then we go into the segment of talking about what happened that day. And I can just watch the news in the morning, take my notes, and talk about the same thing they talked about, right?
Yeah.
And so now you become the real estate agent who also produces news. It's super easy, right?
1,000%. Speaking of newscasters, so we have a celebrity in the house, Joseph. You and I have spoken about this individual before. I want to give a huge shout out to somebody checking us out on YouTube, Win the House You Love, which is
I love his
Kyle
stuff.
Seagraves. Isn't it cool?
By the way, Kyle, I think back in the day, I watched one of your YouTube videos on playing the guitar or something, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I could be wrong.
He plays a mean guitar.
Oh, okay.
So he's one of those people that can go into so many different lanes and succeed in them. He can be a musician. He can be he is a loan originator, a stellar YouTuber who surpassed me by sub count very, very quickly. Like I was standing still. But
you were running backwards. He was running. He was
yeah, I didn't know what game we were playing in. Ever since then, he hasn't returned my phone call ever since he passed me in subs.
Big times.
It's okay, Kyle.
Awesome.
I'll get my own crew.
There you go.
But anyway, so yeah, huge shout out. Win the House You Love. That's a great. You know what? As speaking about YouTube for a second, that is a great great model to follow. So what Kyle has created over there, he speaks directly to buyers and I guess sellers as well. So he speaks about mortgage information. So when was the last time that mortgage was sexy, was getting thousands and thousands of views? Well, he pulls in over 500,000 views every single month. So
awesome.
Clearly there's an audience. People want to be educated and people want to be entertained as well. I understand that. But beyond that, the value that he provides and the way that he presents it is unique. And he brought that to the marketplace at the right time. And he's going to get to 100,000 subs really in no time. He's going to get.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I'm jealous as a new YouTuber. I'm jealous with my 4 views per day right now. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, as a veteran YouTuber, I'm even more jealous because
oh, that's hilarious.
It pisses me off. I hate all of your success, Kyle. And
I love it. So let's talk about that, right? Let's dive a bit into that. So Kyle and other YouTubers that are out there, there's another one that I think it's like called Cash College. The difference between these folks and other YouTubers is the way they're presenting their information, right? And I think a lot of the time people say, well, let's use Casey Neistat as an example. All these YouTubers started creating vlogging like Casey, right? Videos, not because they wanted to be Casey Neistat, but they wanted to emulate his style. And the problem with that is that nobody can emulate Casey Neistat's style. Casey Neistat is Casey Neistat. But what they did unintentionally is they learned how to create their own style because they went out and practiced, right? And so they were like, okay, that didn't work for me, but they learned how to edit. They learned how to shoot videos. They learned how to create framing and things like that and find their own style. And I think Kyle could probably attest to this, and any other popular YouTuber, is you just got to start. And then once you figure out, okay, that didn't work for me the way I wanted it to, then you create your own style and see what works. So I'm sure Kyle didn't start off with, gaining 20,000 viewers in a month or whatever have you, right? It started off with just figuring out what people were interested in and testing and practicing. And so, as we dive into that, I think those of you who are watching, as a hack, it's like, what are other people doing? What can I try that they're doing so that I can practice it? Maybe suck at it, you will, and then get better over time, right? And so I think that's something that we can take away as a hack, is like doing whatever somebody else is doing until you find your own lane, right? And that's what's the statement? Fake it till you make it. I don't love that statement, but it's like create until you are a creator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, start somewhere and start where
Yeah.
there's a proven audience.
Yeah.
For a big channel, a really good channel, and he's become a pretty good friend now. Javier Vidania, he's the largest YouTuber, practicing realtor slash YouTuber in the game right now. He's gonna
Love it.
hit. He's at 85. Now he might be at 90 at this point. Not 80 to 85 to 90,000 subscribers, and he speaks to buyers and speaks to sellers in his way that he does. He doesn't have a film crew following him. He's just got information that you would be able to share with buyers and sellers. I would be able to share with buyers and sellers, but he's out there presenting that information. So kudos to him and the audience that he's amassed. He gets hundreds of people reaching out to him. What's funny about him is in one live stream, I kid you not, that man on a Saturday morning live stream, he was turning down like $5 million worth of business in just one live
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
It's so funny because he'll tell you this, and I'll send this to him so he doesn't sound like, oh, I was just talk shit about everybody, which I do, but I at least I share it with them.
They can come back and
Like,
have a
like
rebuttal.
that Instagram hacker guy, right? You saw
Oh
it.
man,
I
that was
recorded
hilarious.
that. Watch my
Yeah, that was
stories later.
hilarious.
They're gonna be spicy. But with when that live stream is so funny because people are like, "Hey, are you taking on new clients?" I'm looking for a new build, is what the comment was, and here, without skipping a beat, yeah, I'll go to that first I'll go to that first house, and if it works, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you're on your own. And I was like, what the heck? What
What
a
it's
baller.
what it sounds like is Javier needs a buyer's agent so he can sit at his house in his bedroom and create
Oh,
videos.
yeah, he's
So,
so funny.
so by the way, congratulations, Javier, on your success. But what, as we talk about these things, I like to dive into all these handicaps that agents give you, right? These fake handicaps, if you will. And it's like, well, I can't be as popular as Javier because I don't have the time. You're not making the time. He's a full-time agent. He makes the time.
Yeah.
I can't be as popular because I don't have a recording studio. He records his videos out of a bedroom in his house, which is now, I'm sure, is what he calls his office, right? And so, all these handicaps that all these people talk about, they are not true handicaps in creation. They are mental handicaps because they choose not to be in front of people, right? And so it's really awesome that Javier is doing it from a location that everybody has in their house. If you're a real estate agent, you're either an apartment that you're renting or a house that you own. It's a bedroom at the end of the day. Go buy some lights, buy a decent camera, or use your phone, and just start creating. And it's really interesting to talk about and actually dive into this stuff. People are just like, oh, I can't create because I don't know what to talk about. Go to YouTube, search real estate. You will have
Yeah.
content to talk about, right? Anyway,
And
I
he's a
digress a bit
massive
again.
agent. And he's a massive agent. He's about to win the 30 under 30.
That's
He
awesome.
he's massive. So kudos to you, Javier. Again, I'll send you the recording so you can roast me on your larger platform later. Cool. So another
Uh,
now would be a great time to remind everybody to, if you're listening to us on the podcast, giving us a 5-star review would be fantastic. We really do put this content out without really expecting anything in return. So it's one of those that we want to give back as much as possible. We have never sent out a when people, the tip cap or whatever, we haven't done that.
mm,
Um
mm.
so any of that. So we really do appreciate you listening in. 5-star review is going to go a long way. And if you're listening to us live, a like is going to go a fantastic way. And as I say that, I see our first thumbs down. Um,
Oh,
well,
was
that
that
makes me
was that
sad.
from the house you love?
Yeah, it's probably Kyle. Kyle,
Kyle.
hell out of here, Kyle. Well,
That's
whatever.
hilarious.
It helps our engagement. Beyond that, speaking of engagement, here's another hack, Joseph. Before
All
you
right.
make your next post, before you make your next story, here's what's pretty cool. You want to warm up the social media platform that you're on, let's just say Instagram for a second.
Mm, yeah.
What you'll want to do is you're going to start engaging with at least 5 profiles. Either you're going to go and like, or you're going to go and comment, or you're going to go and DM. You're going to warm up the Instagram. It's kind of like warming up your car. So when you go warm up Instagram and you go out and send out your messages, well, now you're going to put up your Instagram story.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is those people are going to see you first because you just had a recent
Yeah.
exchange. And then when they reply to your DM or reply to your comment, reply to your whatever, they're going to show up front and center in your story. So that's a great way for you to get engagement on your stories if you're struggling to get people to watch your message, especially if it's a message that you want people to watch, whether you just started a new service, started a new product, started a new whatever, or just want to share something that you believe is valuable. That's a great way to warm up the Instagram as an example and get a bit more traffic.
Yeah.
And well, that's basically the entire strategy. It's that simple.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I'll dive a little bit deeper because I really love that strategy. Actually, one of the things that I do and I teach is we we take something that's a really popular meme, right, or something that's really engaging, and ask a super engaging question. And then once we do that, then we post the true content that we wanted to actually have people engage with, right? And so let's say for example, we're getting ready to launch our seller, not a masterclass. We've done that live masterclass a couple times, but we're getting ready to launch our seller referral program, right? Where we do all the marketing and then we take a referral on the back end. So I would do something like find a really popular questions like how many agents need listings, right? How many agents in your market have a shortage of inventory? I know the answer. We all know the answer. Every market, for the most part, right? Except for when I saw somebody holding an open house, 2 open houses. I was like, how's that possible? Anyway, but we know that almost every market has a shortage of inventory. I'm going to have hundreds of agents comment. And then I'm going to piggyback on that in the next 24 hours. And I'm going to post how many agents would like to get seller leads for $99 per month, right? And so it directly reflects what Jaime is talking about, right? You can go in and segment out these people the right way, engage with different content that they produced, and then create your content and let them interact. Because we know that the more interaction you have with somebody, the more of their content you're going to see, right? And so that's why it's really important to engage with more people, create things that are interesting, let them engage with it, comment on their comment, like their comment, and then post the thing that you really want them to see, right? And that's how you really get people interested in what you're posting, right? I buy people's stuff all the time because I see it all the time, because I engage with their stuff. I send them a message. I'm like, hey, that's really awesome that you're doing that, right? Or that's really cool. Hey, I'd like to learn more. And lo and behold, they post something that's like just reels me in. I'm a big fish, right? They're reeling me in because the content that I engage with the first time has caused me to see more of their content, right? So those of you real estate agents, there's very simple ways for you to do that.
100%. You're just priming the pump. You
Yeah,
are
yeah,
warming up the algorithm for you, and right on the tail of that. That's another way of doing it. Now, what's going to stop most people is going to feel like, oh, just something else to do. But if you want to see movement in your business, then you're going to go that extra mile. You
yeah,
never. That's the beauty about this industry, Joseph. We sell the largest, and I mean the largest financial, I guess, asset that most people are ever gonna purchase or
yeah,
own, which is a house. It's a property.
yeah,
Why wouldn't we do that? What the success rate here doesn't have to be that. It's even better than a baseballer. It
yeah,
is so much better. You just need to get lucky with one.
yeah.
Well, not for an entire career, not a year, but when it comes to going that extra mile, that exponential return is massive. We're not selling software. We're not selling I don't know. Are these earpods? I don't know what they're called.
Yeah,
But whatever,
AirPods.
we're not selling that part where we're just getting a fraction of a margin. The rewards in real estate are stupidly high. I would
Yeah,
almost even go to say that I'll say it. We're overcompensated in certain in certain instances. I'll go ahead and say it, Joseph. I know.
Unlike
I know.
unsubscribe. Yeah, dislike, unsubscribe, thumbs down. Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
screw
hilarious.
you. But
Yeah,
that's part of it. That's part
yeah,
of it.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think the more content you post, the more you create, the more you can do, then the more you can justify your payment that you're receiving as a real estate agent.
Oh, I just saw a comment.
Uh, oh, is it a good one? Is it shareable? Oh man.
It's off of your page, dude.
Oh, the I have retired one, or
What's
no?
that?
The I have retired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think Linda, you may not understand how Facebook works. If you're in a Facebook group, you have to leave the Facebook group to not see the content. Um, so I don't know what list you're talking about, but you can go ahead and comment the statement that you're making. But congratulations on retiring. I'll say that. I'm quite jealous. Hope to be there in about 3 or 4 years, to be honest with you.
Can you hit the like button on the way out?
Yeah.
Are we canceled yet? I feel like we're
Not yet.
canceled.
Not yet. Not yet. We got a ways to go.
Cool. This one's just gonna be a very quick one because everybody knows it by now. But as I say that, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Over on your LinkedIn, over on your Instagram, if you're like to promote something beyond just one link. So in Instagram, for those of you that aren't there much, you have the ability of using one hyperlink. So one link to whatever it is that you're offering. Some of you link out to Facebook. I don't know why you would do that, but you do. Wherever you link out, you have one link. Well, what you can do is get a free service like Linktree. And there's others out there right there. But what that does is kind of like a landing page to other hyperlinks. So you have the ability of making one link be multiple. So if you want to offer multiple parts of your business, if you want to share different offers to your audience, that's one way to create one link into multiple offers. So I know
Yeah.
most people know that by now, but just wanted to throw that freebie right here towards the end.
Yeah, no, and so I'll capitalize on that as well, Jaime, and kind of piggyback off the statement. You can also go create your own link tree using Canva. If you go to YouTube and search Canva link tree, or go to Google and search Canva link tree, you can actually go create your own. Now it's a little bit more work, it's a little more cumbersome, but if you wanted to create your own, I think Linktree at some point does start charging like $6 a month or $6 a year, right? Whatever it is.
Customize or something.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to customize it, you can go do that. Just search Canva Linktree, and it'll give you an option to do that.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're getting here close to the dismount. As we finalize our episode 31 real estate lead generation hacks, I wanted to do the dismount. I'll start off first, Joseph. Just some parting quote unquote wisdom, if we can call it that, is when it comes to real estate lead generation, being creative is not a bad thing. Simply because you haven't see it be done before. One of the big things is that risk of, oh, it's not going to work, or hey, I haven't seen this be done, so I just don't want to. You probably can't do it. The real estate commission is probably going to slap our hand and just pull my license and all that fun stuff. So we put a lot of different barriers between an outcome that we could legitimately be first movers in, and we just get paralyzed without acting. So you don't need permission to do anything. I mean, realistically, I guess, but you really don't need permission to do anything in your business. So just want to give people that liberty, because I think that some people do need to hear that, I myself included, where if you see an opportunity, go out there, fail. And you mentioned it earlier, we were kind of joking, but fail fast.
Yeah.
Right. So if you see a opportunity out there, try to seize it. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But if you, what I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Again, trying to be between guardrails here. I'm not saying
Yeah,
saying go
yeah.
out there and be reckless, but the worst thing that can happen is you sit on your idea, you sit on your what you thought was a great idea, and somebody else takes it and
Happens
runs
all the
with it,
time.
and they're successful. A hundred
Happens all the
percent.
time. Yeah.
And just it's just that regret. So anyway, just wanted to offer that as we dismount.
No, I think that's good. That's a good one to end on, right? Take action. Don't be scared to take action. I think a lot of people are, in fact, scared to take action because they're worried about, you know, somebody else judging them. At the end of the day, those people don't typically pay your bills. The people who do pay your bills are your clients. As long as you're doing right by them, you'll be okay. And as long as you're doing right by your board, you'll be okay. But you can always ask your broker if you have a true question, but go out and create, go out and do the things that you want to do, or else you'll sit back and as Jaime stated, you'll see somebody else do it and you're like, man, I had that idea and I should have done it. And now that person is fantastic at it. And now I'm even more scared to do it. Right. That happens quite often.
100%. Folks, this has been fun. Really do appreciate everyone that came out and hung out with us. The Agent Lead Source Podcast, episode 31, Real Estate Lead Generation Hacks. If you'd like to connect with us, we're going to link everything down in the show notes. But until then, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.